And then what your first thoughts were about your partner.
Okay. We met off of social media, and pretty much thoughts was I can grasp, her personality spoke loud, pictures speak louder than words. So that was one thing that I noticed, and my charm of her actually reaching back to me, it happened. Normally it doesn't happen, but she actually responded back. So I was lucky then, and we clicked from a conversation from just that, and the first date turned into ultimate dates from there, and then
now we're here.
Get her experience from.
What did you think about him when you first, especially since you guys met on social media, when you first got together in person? What were your thoughts? Where'd you guys go?
Okay, so we met on Plenty of Fish, and our first conversation was just, because at that time I made my profile to kind of cater to, I had recently moved to DC, so I was just looking to hang out and go on dates and have somebody show me around the city. And with him being a native of the area, that's what he talked about. He was like, okay, well, let's go out. So we actually went to Cheddar's out in, where was it?
Down in
Waldorf.
So, a little popular spot. Wanted to keep it a little casual and low. I didn't want to start too big. So, I didn't want to, take it too high class. And, So I wanted to start there to see where her head was at initially.
Yeah, but it was nice. We had, it was good food, good drinks. We had good conversation. And it was good. So from there, we talked every day since then.
So for each of you guys, do you mind talking about, did you have any reservations about going on a dating site and trying to find love on a dating site? Like, people talk about, oh my gosh, it can't happen, or it's taboo, or it's something to be worried about. Talk about your experiences. How much trial and error was there before you?
My experiences, I'll start with me because she changed me. So I'll go with that experience first. Ideally, I was living in a house of guys that I grew up with since 9. And so we had a house, just the 3 of us. So it was more like a bachelor lifestyle, in the age of 25 to, 27 when, she pretty much stopped me from all that. But, like I said, those were guys that I pretty much know. So we were very tight. We had lifestyles, we were, hanging out, still being mature, still being able, financially responsible and able to take care of ourselves, but not mature enough for relationships, ideally. So, we would do things like go out, bars, social media, sites, things like that. And so those, like she said, Plenty of Fish was a popular site that one of my close friends was going on. He was pretty, let's say, striking on going there, meeting nice people at times. So it was like, I was dialing it. And, I just pretty much, like she said, I created a profile, and it was very short term. Like I said, I'm a stubborn guy to really try things like that. So, I went on there and met her, one of the few people, it was trial and error. Of course, meeting people, fake profiles, people that's not going to click with. I did get catfish. We're not going to speak about catfish. Catfish. And like I said, she was one of the profiles that I did stumble. After the catfish and the profiles, it was like, okay, I know what to look for, how to look for it, and at this time it was still, you had to keep patience. And then, like I said, it was short term. Came across her, and I let her. So I don't know how long, but I let her speak for her.
I was going on and off. I would get on for a few, because when you first get on, it's so much, you get so many responses, you get flooded with responses, but then those responses, you may talk for a week or two, maybe a month, and then they disappear, and that's the end of that. Or you go out and you realize this isn't going to work. So I would get on, delete my page, get off, create a new profile. So this was my last go around of okay, it's getting warm outside, I want to hang out. so I was so yes, I was and I lived with some girls from my church too, so we were living in a townhouse, and so it was kind of okay, we would let each other know, okay, I'm going on this day, this is who I'm going with, send them the picture, let them know what's going on. Yeah. So it was more, that was the more of the protection part of like letting somebody know where you're going and who you're going with.
Very tight.
Right.
Yeah.
So how long would you say you guys talked before you actually decided to meet up?
Maybe like a week or two.
Hey.
What to meet up or to actually date? Yeah, about a week or two. Yeah. It was
Why
about a
waste
week or
time? Because
two.
the catfish.
It was tough. May was a hot month. It was my birthday's in May. I did a lot of traveling that month. So ideally, it was like I said, it was actually a tough assignment to try to slow me down, but it still happened, man. She was a good person at that time. So.
What about her made you say, I could slow down for this?
Well, first, as you see, she has a smile. The big smile caught her first. Her smile was actually as genuine as, the photos. It's hard to really match up your photos online and then the actual person. Not too many people agree on that, but her smile did match it. And I mean, from that, like I said, I can read her personality behind that, especially from the conversation. So, the first date actually was one of the best dates ever. So, clicking off the conversations and the smile and going from there just to see more what she's about and eventually becoming my rock, So it's just where we're at.
So what about you? What made you say, okay, I could go on date 2? I might be willing to move out the girl's house.
Well, since you speak on it, well, at first I was like, no, because I knew what I wanted. I knew I wanted my next relationship to be like the relationship. I didn't want to keep dating. So I was just like, we just having fun. We could go out. And he kept telling me like, no, you're going to be mine. And I was like, nah, you don't want this. Like, you don't want to do that. I'm like, we could just be cool. And I was like, you don't want it. He was like, no. So, but so that was it. It was.
She's not lying.
Yeah. So it was just, at that point, it was just like, okay, well, since you said it, like, what are you waiting on? Like, what are we waiting on? So after that, I was like, well, since you made this proclamation, we need to, speed up the pace. When am I going to be your girlfriend? What are you talking about?
She's not lying. But go ahead.
No,
keep speaking.
I'm done.
Well, to speak more on that, to touch on that basis, she was pushing, and I was living in a house, like I said, of guys, so we were still bachelors, so that mentality kind of still was there. I previously was in a 6-year relationship before, 2 years before that, so it was more so I had my wall up too. So, but at the same time, I wasn't with her saying, okay, title. I'm like, I know what title's about, like titles aren't everything at times, so I was more so along that note, and so it was more so trying to meet in the middle, and it eventually worked out over time.
But you shouldn't have said it. You shouldn't have said it first. You should have just let it, play out. You made the proclamation, so now I'm like, well, what are we waiting on?
Right.
And that's her mentality.
He kind of set the play and then went and sat down.
Yeah.
Like, no, let's play. We're gonna do this. Let's go ahead and do it.
Yeah, exactly.
What would you say were the steps to you breaking down that wall? And then I guess if you could talk about what patience looked like in waiting for him to kind of let that wall down.
It was more so just to keep talking. Like I said, from the day we met up until now, we still have never not talked. We talk every single day, like all day. So it was just continuing to engage in the conversation, continuing to meet up to see each other. And then it was like, although we met online, we literally lived like maybe 10 minutes away from each other. So we were like hanging out like every day or every weekend, going out to do something, just watching TV, even if it was just as simple as watching TV or meeting up to watch a show together or something. But it was just keeping the line of communication open and just keep talking. And once you're spending time and going places, and like he said, he loves to travel, so we went to he took me to Massanutten with his family, and we went to Six Flags, New Jersey, and so we were just doing just doing stuff and hanging out, and I was just like, oh, I like him, I want to do more of this. So it was just waiting, but still putting it out there to let him know, again, you said this, so I'm waiting on this, but we can still hang out. But just know I'm ready. I told you weren't ready, but I'm ready now. You made me
She
ready.
made that known. And I continue to stay.
I have a feeling you've been eating those words since.
Yeah, I still eat these words to this day.
Yeah, because now it's like, I mean, we do have a daughter. Our daughter is 18 months. And thank you. And so now I'm just like, okay, you said you wanted to get married, so what we waiting on now? You know? So
So
it's
now
like,
I'm in the corner of that one. Maybe the next documentary might have a part 2 with the sequel, you know.
How would you guys describe the dynamics of your relationship? So, like, who's the motivator? Who's the, who does the grocery shopping? Who handles the bills? Like, how would you guys describe how you all work together?
A lot of things are very 50-50 is what you said. And ideally that was, when I saw that in the beginning as a guy, with the will of wanting to be 50-50 as a guy, of course, we're not going to ask to be 50-50, but when you had the will, a strong will of being 50-50, it was a nice thing. But as to part of being a motivator, we motivate each other. I wouldn't say, because I motivate her in different things and she motivates me in different things. Yeah, we're pretty much around. We feed off each other.
Good balance.
Yeah, we're really balanced.
and we try to, although there are some, we try not to live by gender roles, I would guess you would say. Like, although I may push, like, okay, you should do, I don't believe in gender roles, but could you take out the trash? Because I don't want to take out the trash. Yeah. But he helps out with our daughter, like, a whole lot of, the potty training, the combing the hair, the just watching her. Like, he's really stepped in a lot to really help out a lot. So we do, it is a balance. It's, okay, some bills are in his name, some bills are in my name, but we may tell each other about the bills, but nobody's really the dictator of everything, or we don't have like a person that holds the pot. Wow. But it's okay, you're in charge of this one, I'm in charge of this one, I need help with this one, can you help me with this one? So
you guys are teammates.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. What would you say is the most annoying thing about the other person?
I'm sure she has more for me, so I'm gonna sit here and try to think of the right one. Go ahead and give your list.
My list.
I'm all ears.
But I would say my biggest thing is he likes to be in control, whether that's the remote, the TV, the radio in the car, the music that we listen to. Like, I don't even get in the car and listen to what I want to listen to. Like, I better not even ask. Like, I may if we're on a road trip, I may get like a 30-minute to an hour stint, but that's it. Or if we're watching TV, like, I watch my shows on my own time, but together we're either watching something together or something he wants to watch. So that's my.
No. I grew up around the others. Yeah, you can say that. Yes. Okay. Yeah, so very dominant around there. She's the oldest too.
What about you? What would you say is the most annoying thing about KeErica?
She just, it's. I would say it's a female instinct of just thinking you're slick. Let's just say that, Mike. As far as just being slick. Let's just say that. It's not in a harsh way, neither. Not in a harsh way. It's the simple things. It's like just think the cover-ups or the slickness is cool.
We can be a little tricky.
Or try. And sometimes the guys are actually smarter. In certain instances, girls may actually be. So we like to think. We like to think. At least right. We like to think. But other than that, it's really. I wouldn't say it's nothing, honestly, because with me, like I said, from a lot of past, it's just, even if I can name a few annoying things, I'm sure it wouldn't have stuck, or I would have addressed it, or it wouldn't have been something to carry on to say, this is annoying to this time. So
it's nothing that outweighs your love for.
Yeah, at least I would say, yeah, for the most part.
So I think on the flip side of that question would be, what do you love about your partner the most? And I've been asking people if you can think of a time where you kind of looked across the room, or even if you drive in the car and you just think about your partner, like, what do you think about when you say, like, I love him so much, or I love her so much?
Her drive.
Her drive.
And cause we feed off of each other, so that's really really big as far as to where I get to in my career, to where I get to in my health, to financially, to anything. Just to, if I can see her or just her words that she may speak, I'll try to feed off into that. Or as a guy, I want to top it, and just it's just that drive that helps me, and that that drive carries on all the way up to religion, to health, So I would say the drive.
Wow.
Her personality is my favorite thing about her, but the drive is definitely the most attractive thing, I'd say.
That's sweet. What about you?
It's a lot. I would say just his what he wants to do in life. Just like I said, like going on adventures. I love that I don't have to plan. Like I could sit back, even though I know he likes when I plan stuff too, but I like when he plans. He'll just be like, okay, well, we're gonna do this today, or we're gonna go do this, or just, like I said, all the different places he's taken me and all the places that we want to go together. So I think that's the thing where I just be like, okay. And then on the flip side, like I said, with my daughter, just, it's so hard out here for women with children, and just to know, like, he helps out so much and he's really there. So just to know, like, he's not just in the house, he's like there and involved. So that just makes me like, oh, I love you even more. Like, I love you even more just because what you do for her. So, yeah.
What would you say you've learned about yourself in the relationship?
Although he says my drive, I've learned that I'm a procrastinator and a lot more lazy than I like to think that I am. So, yeah, I think that's my biggest thing is I could say all of these things, whereas before I was in a relationship, I could work on it a lot more. I didn't really have somebody right there to see how accountable I am. Whereas now with him, like having somebody with you all the time, like you can't say you're doing this behind the scenes or when you're at home because he knows what you're doing. Like he knows what you're doing. So I think that's my number one thing.
What about you? Something you've learned about yourself?
More of a patience level, I would say, and just somebody that can kind of break my stubbornness, because me, I'm self-admittedly stubborn, and it's a hard thing to deal with. So knowing that she can step on that at times, and she doesn't know it, or even with a look, it could be less words or whatever the case may be. Somebody that can put me in my place. That's it's always a good thing. A guy needs somebody to put you in their place.
And you allow that, which says a lot about.
Yeah,
he doesn't let it be known. I don't know this until like way down the line, and he shares that may have happened.
I'm not gonna let that. I still gotta hold that part. I gotta hold on to something. But I would say that.
How does blackness play a role in your love story? Can you guys think of ways in which just your ethnicity maybe comes into play as a couple? And if not, it's no big deal. We can move to the next question.
Me, I could say growing up here in this area, I'm from here, growing up here, ideally, growing around a lot more African Americans in Prince George's County, going to public school system, so ideally just being used to that, and my family and just how we were raised, and as far as beliefs, and being a Baptist in the church and growing up into that, and I just feed off of that. That's a lot of things that I carried on. So my parents, who are still married, I kind of like to idolize them at times, and see what they've done to still be successfully married. I'm 29, they have 30 years of marriage to them. So try to see what they've done, being in that household, seeing the ups and downs, like knowing marriage, isn't always on the high, it has downs, and seeing how the work do things. So just being in that household was just something I got the model from, ideally. So I'll let her speak for the rest.
I don't know. Can you see what did I put on the application? Look, what did I say before?
Our blackness plays a role in our love story because we could both relate to going to a HBCU.
Okay, yeah, okay. that was one of our first like main conversation we had on our first date of like we were able to relate to like what we had as fun, what we did while we were there, what we learned, what our schools taught us, and just both of us being proud. With him going to North Carolina A&T, I went to Harris Stowe State University in St. Louis, and so just us being able to relate on that level, and then wanting that for our daughter and future children. Like, okay, I know that's one thing we're going to try to instill in them. Like, you have to go to some type of HBCU. I don't care where it is, but you have to go to one.
Yeah.
But but yeah, but having that experience and being able to like pass it down. So, yeah, and that was one of our main things that like attracted each other. Like we was just, I mean, I guess we were reliving those days of college and the fun that we had. So.
If you were looking back on this video in 20 years, what would you want to remember about your life right now?
How so much we need to work on, like where we are at this moment, like to look back and see where we are then and where we've grown to, because I know we're gonna grow and excel, but to remember like where we were living, our job situations, our daughter, just be able to look back at this day and say, this is what we had or this is what we were doing.